What's going on, everybody? This is Matt Does Fitness, and this morning I was at an ATM and an old lady asked me to help check her balance. So I pushed her over. Okay, so you're probably wondering, where's Brandon and who the friggin' hell is this weird British guy? Firstly, that's slightly racist, and secondly, I've actually kidnapped Brandon and he's tied up under my desk as we speak.
Help! Help! Help!
Shut up, Brandon! So, if you want to see Brandon again, you're probably going to want to head over to my channel and subscribe. The link is in the description.
Help! Motherfucker!
Stop interrupting me! In all seriousness, Brandon is an awesome guy and he's been very kind in letting me make this video. So, I thought I would talk to you about why I believe you can combine this with this. And this. This is awkward. Right, I'm going to be serious now. My name's Matt, I'm from the channel Matt Does Fitness, and I made this video to talk about how I combine powerlifting and bodybuilding. Now I think this is an important topic because I believe a lot of people see those two areas as separate entities. They either, you say you're a powerlifter or you say you're a bodybuilder, and there can be a lot of tension between the two groups. Powerlifters have a go at bodybuilders for being vain and like it's a subjective sport, and bodybuilders will have a go at powerlifters for being fat or out of condition. Now I believe you can combine those two types of training really successfully, and that is kind of how I do it myself. So I'm going to explain to you how that's possible. Right, first things first. You must prioritise the strength training. If you are doing powerlifting and bodybuilding, you need to put the strength stuff first. The reason for that is there's a couple of reasons. The main thing is that the quality of the powerlifting work is going to be massively impeded if you do it after some bodybuilding stuff. So for example, if it's my bench press day, if I go into the gym and I do some cable flies and then maybe some incline dumbbell presses, and I then go and do my heavy bench press sets, the quality is going to be pretty crap. If I go in and I do my heavy bench press sets first, I'm going to get some nice quality because I'm fresh. I can then follow that up with my flies and my presses, and there's not going to be a huge amount of impact on those areas. And even if they are, not as good quality, it's not going to affect the end result anywhere near as much as it would if you did the bodybuilding type stuff first. Now, to explain that further, I'm going to tell you what I do. So I train 6 days a week. And I always start my session with my powerlifting moves. So obviously you've got your deadlift, your squat and your bench press. Now what I do is I split those up into push and pull days. So within my 6 days I will have 3 push days and 3 pull days, and I just alternate them. So it's kind of like a bodybuilding split anyway. The difference is that I always start my session with a heavy powerlifting move. So for example, I will put my bench press with my push day, obviously because it kind of fits in nicely. So I'll go into the gym, I'll do maybe 45 minutes of some heavy bench press sets, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 sets, nice and heavy, reasonably low rep. That's going to get my strength gains. I also believe that's going to contribute towards size. I will then follow that up with say half an hour of some push movements. So I might focus maybe on triceps and shoulders, or I might do just chest, or any of those variations. Obviously the beauty of doing it, having 3 of those days a week, is that you could possibly split it up. So you could have a chest, a shoulders and a triceps day, or you could do what I do, which is pretty much do all 3 in each of those 3 sessions. So I might do a couple of chest exercises, maybe 1 or 2 shoulder exercises, and then 1 or 2 tricep exercises. It takes no longer than half an hour, and because you've got that frequency, because I'm doing it 6 days a week, it means the volume doesn't need to be huge to get the same gains. It also means obviously I'm reasonably fresh because my sessions don't go on for any longer than an hour and a half max. With my deadlift and my squat, I will combine that with a pull workout. So I'll go into the gym on my deadlift day, I'll do maybe 45 minutes, maybe even an hour of heavy deadlift work with some deadlift accessory work. I'll then throw in maybe some cable rows, maybe some bent over dumbbell rows, maybe some T-bar rows, any kind of back exercise, and I'll then maybe do 1 or 2 bicep exercises. And that is all I'll do. I mean, I think a lot of people panic and they try to do too much, which is why they possibly don't get the gains they could get. It is all about quality over quantity. You are much better off doing an hour and a half of really good quality work than doing 3 hours of just any old crap, you know, smashed together. It is all about quality. The next point is that you don't need to do too much. You need to be careful about moderating your volume. I'll give you an example. So if I'm doing my bench press day and I'm going to combine it with some push movements, if I go into the gym and I do say 45 minutes of heavy bench press work, I'm going to get some good strength gains from that. If I then go, you know, kind of panic and do like an hour of bodybuilding stuff, that's going to end up being detrimental. It's too much. You need to moderate the amount you do. I would say if you get some real good quality powerlifting stuff in, you only need half an hour max of bodybuilding accessory work at the end. I believe if you do that frequently enough, that is enough work to gain size. And lastly, you need to remember that powerlifting is high intensity. It's going to build a lot of muscle. When you do your bodybuilding stuff, in my opinion, sometimes you can get into kind of a lull because you're not lifting, you know, maximal weights, not lifting at any, you know, up kind of 80, 90, 100% of your 1 rep max. You can sometimes get into a little bit of a lull where you don't really push yourself. When you are powerlifting, because you're lifting those high intensities, because you're lifting those high percentages, you're going to push yourself. It's going to be really, really intense. You're going to be trying to push the weight fast. So you are recruiting so many fibers. You're going to get those size, those aesthetic gains. So don't panic. You know, if you do your powerlifting stuff and it overruns a little bit, or you feel too tired to do your bodybuilding stuff, don't panic. You can still build really good muscle just from doing the powerlifting stuff alone. Obviously, you know, when you get into doing the heavy singles and the heavy maybe doubles, it won't cross over so much, but a lot of the work you're going to do in the powerlifting stuff, so I mean a typical session for me will be 5 sets of 5. I believe you can build a lot of muscle from doing that session because it's enough reps to get that kind of that fatigue, that exhaustion, but it's, you know, it's a low enough number that you're going to be lifting a high percentage, and therefore you've got that intensity and you've got that massive amount of muscle fiber recruitment. And that is that. So to summarize, do your strength work first, follow that up with your bodybuilding type stuff, but don't do too much. Go for a frequency over volume approach. So if you can get in the gym as many days as you can, it means you don't need to be in there for that long, and that's going to help your quality, which as we all know is going to lead to some gains. So that's all I'm going to say. Brandon's getting hungry, so I'm going to go and breastfeed him. While I'm doing that, I'd really appreciate it if you could click the screen, go and have a look at my channel. If you like what you see, then subscribe, and I will see you later.